The lighthouse keeper's daughter, on the rugged coast of Maine, where the Atlantic Ocean roared and the wind carried the scent of salt and pine, stood a lonely lighthouse. Its beam cut through the fog, guiding ships safely to shore. For decades, the lighthouse had been tended by a man named Thomas, but now, in the year 1947, it was his daughter, Clara, who kept the light burning. Clara was only 22, but she had grown up in the shadow of the lighthouse. Her mother had passed away when she was young, and her father had raised her with a deep respect for the sea. When Thomas fell ill, Clara took over without hesitation. She climbed the spiral staircase twice a day, polished the lens, and ensured the oil was full. The lighthouse was her home, and the sea was her companion. One stormy evening, as the wind howled and the waves crashed against the rocks, Clara noticed something unusual. The beam of the lighthouse flickered, then dimmed. Her heart raced. She grabbed her coat and rushed outside, the rain stinging her face. The generator was failing. If the light went out, ships could crash against the jagged rocks below. With trembling hands, Clara worked to fix the generator. The storm raged around her, but she didn't stop. She thought of her father, who had always told her, "The light is more than a beacon, it's a promise." A promise that someone is watching, that someone cares. She couldn't let that promise break. Just as the light began to fade completely, Clara managed to restart the generator. The beam surged back to life, cutting through the darkness. She stood there, soaked and shivering, but relieved. The lighthouse had done its job. The next morning, the storm had passed, and the sea was calm. Clara climbed to the top of the lighthouse and looked out at the horizon. In the distance, she saw a ship sailing safely away. She smiled, knowing she had played a part in its journey. Years later, Clara would still be there, keeping the light burning. She never married, never left the lighthouse. But she didn't feel lonely. The sea was her friend, the lighthouse her purpose, and the beam her promise to the world. And so, the light continued to shine, a steady, unwavering presence on the rocky coast, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, there is always a light to guide the way. Moral, dedication, responsibility, and resilience can make a difference, even in the face of adversity.